We have one speaker on this item, Mr. Jesus Montana. Thank you for staying late, Jesus.
No problem. I'm already in trouble for being here on Valentine's Day. With a little more time. Oh, jeez. Well, ladies and gentlemen of the board, Superintendent Kova and Deputy Superintendents, good evening. First of all, I wanted to start by saying thank you for all the time that we spent discussing this, I want to say since last May. But also for the staff that you sent in your place during the negotiation, particularly Ms. Donovan and Ms. DeBernardo and their staff. They truly exhibited their professionalism and dedication to come to an agreement between the POA and the district. It was evident that their best interest in hand was not just protecting money from the district, but to protect the interests of the employees and, of course, our students. The way we handle this as a POA is we turn to our membership and ask for their direction on where to go with this. And we turned it to our membership to tell us how to negotiate and what were they willing to give up. I will say this is not a great contract. It's actually bittersweet. It's bitter because we remember the good old days, which is probably already in our history books when we used to have money in this district. We got pay raises over time. We're not number one in the county as police officers, but we still got raises to at least meet the COLAs. This contract will hurt. Boy, will it hurt. Our memberships will be looking at a take-home decrease anywhere between what the ranks of a community service officer, which could be as low as $200 a month, and we represent all the way up to and including sergeants and lieutenants at a certain level as associate members. But in this contract, it will be our sergeants, and they're looking possibly as high as $600 a month of what they will be losing. But the sweet part of this contract is that the board kept its word. If our membership came in and gave concessions, that there will be no layoffs of any of our employees. While it's great that we will be employed for the next year and a half now, it takes the pressure off our officers so that they can concentrate on what's important, and that's protecting our students and making sure that they keep a safe learning environment. More importantly, it will allow us to meet our mission, which is to provide a safe learning environment. And as you can see in all of our police cars, to protecting our future. So today, on this Valentine's Day, I don't know what kind of love I'll be getting at home. I do ask, in behalf of the men and women of the San Diego Schools Police Officers Association, to please show us some love and vote to approve this contract. Thank you.
You got it, man.
Not only are you missing Valentine's Day, but you're here to take a pay cut. She's gonna love that.
I'll move approval of the tentative.
Second.
And then I had one comment. Number one, I really want to thank Officer Montana for your leadership, and not only of your employees, your members' leadership in doing what I know all of us have hoped that we could have to avoid reducing the level of service that we have this year for our students in next year. And I'm hoping this will just be the beginning of the other groups as well. So I really appreciate your leadership and willing to do that. I wanted to just make one comment about, every bargaining group is different, and every employee has different tasks. And I understand that you have the ability and skill to manage your resources effectively. That if, God forbid, the tax does not pass in November and there has to be additional cuts, that the proposal calls for up to additional 3 weeks, 15 days of furlough days. And I think with your leadership and the staff, you work out a way that could work with minimizing the impacts on students. That said, I don't believe that can work for most of the rest of our bargaining units, and I cannot support reducing the school year. by 3 more weeks. And I'm not saying anyone's saying that, but if that's an option that comes forward from the governor even, to reduce the school year by 3 more weeks and have a month shorter school year, I'd rather take my chances with insolvency, because I think that would be so destructive. So I think this approach that you have negotiated in good faith and with the staff, it will work to meet the needs, but I don't believe it can work with most of the other units, and I cannot support a reduction of the school year. And this is not calling for that, but I do once again appreciate very much your leadership and example to your officers and the community and all the work you do on the campuses as well.
If I may put on my employee hat now, not the citizen speaker, one of the things that was discussed in the bargaining table in regards to that, how can we make this work? We are dedicated and working with our management team and we have it in our own policies that there's a minimum staffing level, and we will not go below that. Going below that then starts risking the safety of our students, and we're dedicated not to be doing that. Any furloughs that are taken will not interfere with the instruction of students, and I'm sure that's more where your concern comes. So we have discussed that portion of it. We will do what we can. Being that we are 12 months employees and we have to protect the district all year long, unfortunately we can't take a holiday from the criminals. We will work to make sure that this works and their students are not jeopardized by this decision.
Yeah, I just want to thank Jesus as well and your entire bargaining unit. And in fact, our entire community owes gratitude to the step that you've taken. It means that our students are going to be safer next year than they would have been if the officers hadn't stepped up and been willing to take this sacrifice. Now I think the rest of our community has to step up and realize that we do have and we will have choices in front of us in November, because it is not right that the people who put their lives on the line every day to ensure the safety of our students are the ones who then additionally have to take this sacrifice just so our students can have adequate staffing of police in our schools. That's a responsibility for our entire community. You've taken an incredible step, and we owe you a debt of gratitude for doing that, you and your entire bargaining unit. But the way this community can show its gratitude for the step that you've taken is to do the right thing in November and to support the revenue that we need for all of our public schools. Thank you, Officer Montana.
Okay. And just to back up what Mr. Barnett was saying, certainly there was a situation with the potential furloughs with the police officers, but in terms of we do not have any legal authority at this point to reduce the school year any further anyway, and so we're basically asking our unions to look at the same sort of savings, which is salary rollbacks, again contingent on the ballot measure as opposed to furloughs. But I like everybody else is saying, the key here is that management and labor have sat down together and worked this out for the good of the kids in our schools, and I think that's a great step forward. And just as we're praising Mr. Montana and the police officers, also Superintendent Kova and your staff in terms of working with them very diligently to make this happen. So we have a motion and a second.
I think that what this shows is that there is a third way. There are other options with regard to the budget outlook for the next school year, and that, as I have said many times over the last year, that it is incumbent upon us to work together with all the bargaining units to try to preserve class sizes and educational programs, to maintain staffing levels that are reasonable for all of our schools. And in this agreement, I see something very, very hopeful and optimistic, an option that other bargaining units can look at as a potential reality for them and their members, so that we don't have to resort to laying off hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of unit members in order to pay for the reinstatement of the 5 furlough days and the 7% raise, and that's the trade-off, that we just need to pull together and ride out the weather, the storm, for one more year. Thank you.
Okay, please vote. That passes 5-0. We have our own applause in this huge auditorium.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move on to